Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today, we're talking about one of the most underrated print-on-demand products that I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now, and that's going to be hats. And the reason why is because sometimes the most obvious products are the ones that people overlook the most. A lot of people are getting into print-on-demand and they immediately run towards t-shirts because that's what everyone's talking about. Then they run towards mugs because mugs are simple and they're easy for you to understand. And don't get me wrong, these are all great ideas, but hats sit in a very interesting middle ground where they're common enough for people to understand, but they're still underutilized enough where a creative seller can stand out. The real strategy is understanding what people already want, finding that emotional reason behind why they buy, create your design that feels very specific to them, and then use a print-on-demand supplier like Printful to produce and ship your products, all without you ever needing to buy any inventory up front. So in this video, I'm going to break down how to sell print-on-demand hats using Printful, what types of hats are actually worth looking at, what design styles are working at this moment in time, and how to think about personalization, how to price your hats, and how to actually build a profitable strategy instead of just uploading products and hoping that they work. And as always, I'm not here to sell you a dream. Print on demand is not magic. You're not going to upload 3 hats tonight and wake up tomorrow with the Lamborghini parked outside your apartment. If it were that easy, then everybody would be doing this right now. But if you're willing to treat this like a real business, to test products, improve your listings, study your market, and actually create hats that people want to buy, there's a real opportunity here. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First, let's talk about Printful and how it makes sense for this strategy. Printful is a print-on-demand company that allows you to create custom products, connect them to an online store or marketplace, and sell them without holding inventory. When a customer places an order, Printful will produce and ship the item for you. For hats specifically, Printful will give you multiple styles to work with, including classic dad hats, trucker hats, snapbacks, beanies, bucket hats, corduroy hats, distress hats, and other variations depending on what is currently available in their catalog. This is very important because different hat styles will attract different buyers. A dad hat has a more casual, everyday feel. A trucker hat can work well for outdoor brands, country themes, maybe bachelor or bachelorette trips, and retro designs. A snapback can feel more brand focused, and a beanie works better for colder seasons, winter sports, holiday gifts, or cozy lifestyle brands. The product style matters because your design needs to match the buyer and the aesthetic. You can't just pick any hat and slap a design on it. That's how people end up with products that nobody wants. Another reason Printful is useful is because they offer embroidery options. Embroidery can make your product feel more professional than a simple printed design. So instead of ink just sitting on top of fabric, that design is stitched into the hat. That will give your hat more texture, more dimensions, and a more premium look. Printful also has options like standard embroidery, unlimited color embroidery on eligible products, and 3D puff embroidery on certain hats. Standard embroidery can work well for simple text, logos, icons, and clean designs. Unlimited color embroidery opens up more possibilities for colorful artwork, design styles, and granites. 3D puff embroidery gives you that raised effect where the design pops off the hat, which can be great for bold letters, simple logos, and streetwear styles and designs. Now, just because a feature exists, it doesn't mean every design should use it. But every technique will have a purpose, so you need to design with the production method in mind. That's why successful print-on-demand sellers are not just artists. They're product developers. They understand what customers want, what the platform can produce, and how to create great designs that look amazing. Now, if you would like to get started with Printful, there is a link down in the description. I highly recommend that you check them out. Before we get into researching your design ideas, we need to talk about the biggest mistake that beginners make when selling hats. The biggest mistake is creating products based on what they personally like instead of actually what's selling in the market already. This is where people get in trouble. They open Printful, they choose a hat, create a random design, they upload it to Etsy, and then sit there refreshing their dashboard like money is supposed to fall out of the sky. But the problem is not the print-on-demand provider or the print-on-demand style per se. The problem is that you skip the research portion. You have to start with demand. Before you create a hat, you need to ask yourself a few questions like, who is this hat for? Why would they buy it? When would they buy it? Is it a gift? Is it for an event? Is it for their identity? Is it for humor? For a group? Is it personalized? Is it seasonal? Is it tied to a trend? Is there proof that people are actually buying similar products? This is how you stop guessing. So if you're selling on Etsy, you should be studying Etsy. Look at what's already selling, look at a listing with a lot of reviews, look at newer listings that are gaining traction, look at product photos, pricing, personalization options, shipping charges, and look how sellers structure titles and descriptions. And honestly, in my opinion, I think it's best to start with Etsy first. That way you have like a lay of the land. You understand exactly what's going on, and later on create a Shopify store once you have some sales and designs that you know are actually going to sell very well. And of course, you're not just copying, you're going to be actually researching. There's a big difference. Researching is looking at the market, identifying patterns, and you're asking yourself, what are customers responding to? And once you understand this pattern, you can create your own original version. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, I have previous print-on-demand videos where I'll show you exactly how to do this with AI tools like Canva AI, Claude, ChatGPT. There's plenty of ways for you to design logos and all of these things for your hats without having to be a designer. So don't worry about that. Check out my previous videos. Now let's go over to Etsy and find some winning designs. So currently we are on Etsy.com. Anybody can come to this website. They'll usually get a home screen that looks something like this. The first thing that we're going to do is go to search for anything at the top. We'll type in hats and then we'll see what comes up. Now, the next thing that we want to do is go to the option that says most relevant. And I would pick either top reviews, which is probably going to be the best, or you can also look for the ones that say popular now. Either one of these would be a great option. So let's actually take a look at this one right here. This one is the embroidered hats personalized dad cap. Now, if you watch my previous videos, you guys know that I highly recommend doing personalized designs. That's because they have a higher perceived value and people are more than likely to keep these hats. They're not going to return them because they are personalized. They get to design exactly what is on the hat. So obviously, if this is a bestseller, that's probably what you would like to do. Now, if we go to the colors, we see that they have really all the colors here. Printful will likely have all these exact same colors: brown, blacks, grays, pinks, purples, all of that. But the customization options, that is exactly what's so important. If you wanted to, you could buy a blank hat, or you could buy only front text for an additional $11.95, or only a front logo for $13.95, or a back logo for $11.95. So let's say that someone wanted to get a front and a back logo. They would click on this option here. So as you can see, it would be $15.95. It's 50% off right now. So they would be able to get front logo, back logo, add to cart. You would then go to Printful. You would make sure to price your hats accordingly. That way you are profitable, and more than likely you would be able to get sales. Now, the only thing about hats is that because the value of them is going to be a little bit lower, especially if we're doing these custom designs like we see here, it's going to take a little bit more thought in order for you to actually price these for a profitable margin. Because this individual here might actually be selling this, from their house. They may have actually bought inventory, which may have actually lowered their cost, which could be the reason why their price could be this low. We don't really know. But I can say that if we look at the reviews, this seller is doing very, very well. They have a 4.9 rating, right? And they're getting 5-star reviews for the most part. And it looks like they have 2,700 reviews total. That is awesome. They also have 22.1K sales, and they've been on Etsy for 2 years. So if we do some rough math, when we say they had 22,000 sales, and let's say the average hat sold at $13, they would have a revenue of $286,000 within the last 2 years. So if you divide that by 2, that's around $143,000 that this seller made per year. Or that's also $11,916.66 per month. Of course, that's revenue. That's not their actual profit, right? Because we don't know how much it actually costs for everything else to produce this, but that's not bad. Now, I want to move on to an actual logo design, something where people already, made it. Let's look at this one where it has a smiley face on it. And it's a very simple logo, as you can see here, just a smiley face hat in a variety of colors. It looks like trucker hats. hats, and they have, green, light pinks, neon pinks, obviously very bright colors, but they also have some that are earth tone like the khaki and the brown. So a good variety. And it looks like the price for this hat is just a set price. It's $22, and that is it. And then for this seller, they have 34,000 sales. They've done this within a 5-year time frame, so that's pretty good. 4.9 is the average rating, so everyone likes these. I mean, they're doing fairly well. The people who are purchasing them seem to really enjoy them. Kids, adults, everyone. And then as we can see here, there are even more hats with similar styles. So obviously people saw that, did the same thing, and thought, okay, I'll do my own variation of that, which is exactly what you should be doing. Now, keep in mind, you don't only have to look at Etsy for logos and styles. You can check out the TikTok shop. You can check out Amazon, all right? But I do believe Etsy is a great place to start because it already has traffic. So if you're brand new to this, if you've never done this before, one of the best things that you can do is set up your Etsy shop, do your print on demand store, test out a few designs that you've researched, see what sells. Also check out the customization options and personalized designs and see if you can sell those. I highly recommend that you try both options, test them out, and see which one is working best for you. Now, let's talk about pricing, because this is where a lot of people get humbled if they don't actually take their time and look at the revenue, not the profit. I need you to understand that revenue is money coming in. Profit is what is left after production cost, shipping, marketplace fees, payment processing fees, ads, refunds, discounts, taxes, and of course, your time. A hat selling for $29 is not automatically a win if it cost you $25 to produce and to ship that hat. At that point, you're basically running a charity for people who like embroidered accessories. You need to know your numbers before you list your hats. You want to look at the Printful production cost, look at the shipping cost, look at whether the technique adds extra cost to you, and then look at the selling platform fees. Your goal is to create a better offer, better product photos, better mock-ups, better personalization, better niche positioning, and better list copying, which means the words that you're going to use to describe your product. When the production feels premium, you can charge premium prices. For many hat products, especially embroidered or personalized hats, you may want to test pricing at the $35 to even $50 range, depending on the product. The complexity and the market really does matter. Some simple hats may need to be a lower price, or some personalized or group ordered hats may justify adding a higher price. But the main point is this: do not just copy another seller's low price without knowing their business model. Once again, some sellers may produce hats themselves, some may have bulk inventory, some may be using cheaper supplies. If you blindly match their price using print on demand, you can end up making almost nothing, and that's why you need to build margin into the offer. A good way to improve your profitability is to increase the average order value. You can do this by offering group orders, bundles, matching products, premium personalization, or quantity discounts. Creating the product is only half the battle. The other half is getting people to actually see it. Now, if you sell on Etsy, Etsy search can bring traffic, but you still need to optimize your listings. You want to use keywords that customers actually search for. You want to create strong photos, you want to get reviews, and you want to test different titles and also improve your conversion rate. You can also use Pinterest because hats are visual and giftable. TikTok and Instagram can also be powerful if you create content around the product. For example, if you sell hats for pet lovers, you can create videos showing a pet photo turning into a embroidered hat. That type of transformation content is satisfying to watch, and it's very easy to understand. Content works best when it doesn't feel like a boring ad. You want to show a product in context. Show the transformation, show the humor, show the problem that it solves, show the moment that it belongs in. You can also use paid ads, but I would be careful with ads in the beginning. If your products are not converting organically, then ads usually make the problem more expensive. Start by making the product and the listing strong, and then test your traffic. Once you find a hat that starts selling, don't immediately abandon it and chase something else. That's another mistake that beginners will make. They finally get a product that works, and instead of doubling down, they go create 20 unrelated products. If a product sells, then study why it sold. What is the niche? What is the personalization? What is the color? What was the phrase? What is the mock-up? Was it seasonal? Then you want to create variations. So if a Gulf Uncle hat sells, then create versions for dad, for grandpa, brother, husband. Scaling is not always creating completely new ideas. Sometimes scaling is about expanding with the idea that already works. You can also improve the listing over time. You can add better photos, you can add videos. The goal is to turn one winner into a collection. That is how print on demand starts becoming a real business. If I were starting from scratch, here's how I would approach this in the next 30 days. In the first week, I would research the market. I would choose one main niche. I would study Etsy listings, customer reviews, pricing, photos, and personalization styles. I would look for patterns and identify what customers are already buying. Then in the second week, I would create my first collection. I would not create one random hat. In the third week, I would build the listing. I would focus heavily on photos, titles, descriptions, instructions on personalization, and pricing. I would make sure to create a listing that would clearly explain why this hat is worth buying. And then in the fourth week, I would start driving traffic and collecting data. I would post content on TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest. I would watch which listings get views, favorites, clicks, and sales. I would improve the weak listings and double down on the products that actually get attention. Now, that is a much better approach than just uploading one hat and hoping that it goes viral. You need to have enough products to test, but not so many that you can't actually track the results. So start focused, learn the customer, and build around what's working. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Print on demand hats are not new, but the opportunity is still very real because the products have evolved. With embroidery, unlimited color options on eligible products, 3D puff embroidery on certain hats, and different hat styles available through Printful, you have way more ways to create that specific product that feels premium and actually identifies with someone's niche. But the money is not just in the hat, the money is in the angle. A blank hat is not special. A random phrase on a hat, that's not special either. But a hat designed for a specific customer or event or identity or some specific emotional reason, that can sell. And that is the difference. And when you combine that with a supplier like Printful, you can test these products without buying inventory up front. But remember, this is still a business. You need to research. You need to create a design that's quality, and you need to price correctly. You need to build strong listings, and you need to drive traffic, and you need to keep improving over time. That is how you give yourself a real chance. Now, if you got value from this video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and comment below what type of print on demand hat that you're gonna sell first. Would you go for a pet hat, a golf hat, a business hat, or something completely different? I'd love to hear your ideas because sometimes the best niches are hiding in plain sight. And as always, I appreciate you for watching. Keep building, keep learning. I'll see you in the next video. And of course, you guys have a wonderful day.